And welcome. Glad you are here. We're going to start in about 6 or 7 minutes. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today on this weekend, at least in my time zone, weekend. We're going to focus on like seven or eight questions regarding NTP. And if you were in the yesterday, if you were in the office hour, we had a great opportunity to review NTP. And if you're studying for your CCNA, I just want to refresh the fundamentals. I would invite you to calendar every Saturday, Pacific time, 10 a.m. for my office hour. It's free on Discord. And then every Sunday, a quiz, normally on that same topic, on Sundays at 11 a.m. every weekend. So mark that in your calendars and look forward to helping you in your journey. I'm going to step away for a minute, but I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. What did I miss? Just gonna get a little water and we will start. All right. Hey, as we start, I'd like to again thank you for joining me today for this quiz. This will be about 30 minutes time-wise. Also, right after the quiz, I'll be hanging out on the Discord server in the CCNA voice chat room. There's a link in this video description for that. It's also a free room, so if you want to come and actually connect and ask questions about what we've talked about today or questions regarding your CCNA journey, I'll be there for probably 15 to 30 minutes right after the live quiz today. All right, I see Blendinator, aka Dan, is wishing everybody good luck with the super sticker. Thank you for that, Dan. I appreciate that. And it's time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Here we go. Network time protocol. There's no present like the time. There's no protocol like NTP. Here's our first question of 9. It is this. It's double points, and the question is, which command or commands on a Cisco client, like a router, are needed to authenticate an NTP server? All right, they are all required to make that happen. And the best way to practice this is to practice it with Packet Tracer, which works great. It is free. If you haven't already gotten Packet Tracer, go to netacad.com, sign in up for a free account, and you can download it and use it. Yesterday in the office hour, I was reminded of how if we don't touch a technology for a while, sometimes we forget. And so I actually labbed this up a few times. And I thought, it's so easy to do. Let me just demonstrate really quickly how we could verify something like this. I built a topology. I did this morning. Took about, 5 minutes to put these devices together. And I have this is Packet Tracer. I have a server here acting as an NTP server. So I just dragged it to the topology. I went to services and I said, I want you to be an NTP server. And here's a key. I want to use authentication. I want to enable it. And here's the current time and date. So since this is all set up, now if we want to be an NTP client, we go to R1. Let me open this up real quick. And here on router 1, we'll do a show NTP status. And it says NTP is not enabled. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to put the config in, save time, copy, and paste. So, and these are the 4 commands I just had in the quiz, by the way. So I want to reinforce that. So we're specifying that we have an authentication key number 1. We're specifying that we trust that key. We specify that we want to do authentication. And then we specify that with the NTP server, .100 is our NTP server, we want to use key 1. And in the background, this guy's sending out NTP requests. So if we do a show NTP status, it says it's unsynchronized. However, if we do a show NTP association and press enter, this shows right here, the little tilde, is that it's configured. So we're supposed to be using 10.1.0.100. Its reference clock is effectively itself on this NTP server, and we haven't synchronized yet, and that's okay. NTP takes a few minutes sometimes. Yep, still unsynchronized. Now, let me share with you one of the things I love about Packet Tracer. So as we take a look at the associations, this shows that the stratum of the peer that we're connected to is a stratum 1, which is a very trusted NTP server. The bigger the number, the less trusted it's considered. So one of the things I love about Packet Tracer is this button right here. Next to time, it has that little fast forward. I'm going to click on that like, I don't know, 20 times. Go back to the router. Now the time has been forwarded. And we'll do the up arrow key. And now it's synchronized. When I was studying for my first CCNA back in 2001, I know, over 20 years ago, this was a problem then. It's still a problem now. And that is, it takes a while for gear to synchronize with NTP. So after all the tricks and things are done to help it synchronize faster, you basically have to configure it and then come back and look at it in a little bit. So earlier today, let me see if this is done yet. Earlier today, I did this. I'll just do a config T and do a do, show, run. I'll only do show history. There we go. Oh, that's not too helpful. Let me do a show, run, pipe, section, NTP. So I configured NTP on this router, and I said, please go ahead and use the server at 0.northamerica.pool.ntp.org. It did name resolution for that, and if you do a show NTP status, oh, it's synchronized. It wasn't earlier. I thought, okay, this may never synchronize by the time we show it, but it did synchronize, and if we do a show NTP associations, there's also some additional commands above and beyond what Packet Tracer emulates or simulates. But this shows us that that's our configured peer based on the name resolution and that we are synchronized, which is fantastic. All right, so the best way to practice this and be familiar with it is to practice with it. And there's no substitute for that. So those are the 4 commands we just reinforced. And first place, Captain Bobcat. Here's question 2 of 9. Using Cisco docs and hands-on practice with Packet Tracer, that can help you get your CCNA. Is that true, or is that false? Yeah, definitely true. Very, very good. And so today, I just want to share with you the fact that I study pretty much the same way I do now as I did back 20 plus years ago when I was first starting with learning Cisco, and it applies to any technology. You take a look at the technology you're working with, go to the source, go to the official docs. So this is a iOS command reference guide. I was focusing on NTP, and I could just dig into any of these commands. Now, yesterday, I could not remember the benefit of NTP master because it's not always needed. You don't always have to do NTP master, and it's coming up in a quiz question, so I'm going to leave it for a moment. But I just simply went to this documentation, looked it up, verified it, and said, yep, that's what it does. So the actual documentation, some hands-on practice in a simulated environment is great, and you can help reinforce these skills. All right, and those skills will help you because when you get to production networks, if you know how something works or how it should work, you're going to be better in troubleshooting and working with it. All right, Captain Bobcat still in first place, followed by Snowy Duck, Sturdy Leopard, Blue Hamster, or Purple Lemur. If that is one of you, if one of those 5 code names are you, I'd like you to go ahead, if you're up to it, and post in the chats and say, that's me. I am Captain Bobcat or Snowy Duck, if it's really you. I just want to give you some a shout out and they say thank you for doing so great. And we have some questions to go. Here's question number 3, multiple select. What is the default protocol and port number for network time protocol? Now, if you wait long enough, it's going to show up on the screen in this packet capture. But the faster you answer correctly, the more points you get. The choice is in your hands. All right, indeed, it is UDP at layer 4. That's the protocol, and the well-known port is 123, and that's shown right here in this packet capture that I did this morning. All right, and at the top of the heap, we still have Captain Bobcat, and whoa, Proud Condor has 3 correct answers in a row. Nice work. Here's question number 4 of 9. What is your status regarding a CCNA? That's a Cisco Certified Network Associate. Do you already have it? Are you planning on taking it in the next year? Or within the next 3 months? Or do you not have it and don't plan on getting it? And the answer is great. All right, look at that. Most people who are taking this quiz already have it, and they're back. Why are we back? I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is wonderful to refresh on the basics, because every time you visit it, you see it with a different angle or you learn something new. Almost every single Saturday when we join on the Discord server in my office hour, I almost every time learn something new or have new insight that I didn't realize because of the community and the discussion. So it's fantastic. So thank you for everybody on being here, and everybody who's taken your exam recently. Congrats. And everybody who's taking it in the near future. Best of luck. Keep up the studies. And here is question number 5. It is multiple select. Which command or commands can show NTP related details? Pick all that apply, all that are actual Cisco commands. All right, those are the 2 big winners. And on Cisco Gear, there's also some options for detail, the keyword detail after, I think it's show NTP. Yeah, what is it? Hold on, let me take a look. So if we do a show NTP status question mark, that's not it. So show NTP associations, and then there's detail, which can give you a lot more information as well. Also, if we do a show NTP and a question mark, the packet tracer gives you the status and the associations, but there's also some additional options on live gear, which makes it easier to help identify what's going on. All right, great work. Here we go. Question 6 of 9. It is multiple select. Which command or commands set a router as an authoritative time server? All right, just NTP master. And then after you do NTP master, you can also specify a stratum if you would like to. So let's take a look at when this might be helpful. This is one I didn't recall yesterday as far as why or when we would use it. Oh, wrong window. Let's go to packet tracer for a moment. Here it is. And let's pick on R3. So R3 at the moment, I don't know if it's configured for NTP. Let's check with the show NTP status. That says nope. So if we did this, we did NTP master and just like that, boom, and then did a show NTP status. Look at that, synchronized. Now that's wishful thinking. In a production with live gear, that might take a long time. Even if you did an NTP master, it might take a long time for that to synchronize. So if you have a network where you can't reach a real NTP server or an authoritative NTP server, you just want one of your routers to be authoritative and say, yep, you just use this command, NTP master followed by the stratum. It appears based on this output that the default is 1. However, that could vary based on the iOS and so forth. So that'd be an example of when you would use NTP master is when you want this device to be an authoritative server. So I'm going to go to configure from terminal. I'm going to do up arrow key a couple times, do no. And let's actually do this real quick. This will be fun. On R2, so R1 is synchronized over to the NTP server. We could actually synchronize R2 over to R1. Now, even though we have not used the NTP master command on R1, we could still synchronize time from R2 from R1 because R1 does have what it believes is accurate time from an NTP source. So to do that here on R2, let's do a ping first to 1111. I want to make sure I can reach that IP address. Let's loop back on R1. And let's do a config T, an NTP server, and we could do 1111. You could also set up a key and a trusted key and authority and set up authentication if you wanted to. I'm just doing it without for convenience here. And then what we could do also is go to R3 and do an NTP and say server and go to 2222. I also want to verify I can ping that because if you can't reach it, it's not going to be too effective. All right. So in a moment, if we do a show NTP status, it says it's unsynchronized and show NTP association. And so right here it shows it's configured. Now it may R3 is not going to take time from R2 until R2 believes it has the right time. So I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward like, I don't know, 20 clicks here, which is 30 seconds, I believe, per click, moving the clock a little bit forward. We'll go back to R3 and up arrow key and see this little asterisk here. We are now synchronized. If we do a show NTP status, we are now synchronized. So we're getting our time. So currently it says that we are stratum 4. If we do a show NTP associations, the device we're getting from it is stratum 3, and R2 is getting it from R1. R1 is a stratum 2, and then the actual time server is a stratum 1. So every device you get further and further away from the authoritative time is another stratum level. So the lower number for stratum is better. So also another cool thing is this. If we went to R3, this is just for fun. Show clock. So that's the NTP is served up in universal time coordinated. And so what you do is you get UTC time shipped to you by NTP. And then what you do locally on your devices is you set your local time zone on the router. And then you can also set up the time frames for daylight savings time, when it starts, when it ends, all that good stuff. But UTC is the delivery mechanism as far as time from a time server. And then the local routers offset it. So if we did this, we went to the time server and we said, you know what? I want to party like it's 1999. Let's say it's 1999 and December. Okay, so the time server, who's an authoritative time server, now is saying it's December 1999, and it might take a minute or two for R1 to sync up with that, then R2 to sync up with R1, and R3 to sync up with R1. So let's just take a peek at let's go to the tail end here and do a show clock. Yeah, hasn't come in yet. So I'm gonna hit the fast forward button here, probably about 20 times. I'll tell you what, I wish I could have done this in the CCNA lab because you have to wait for just time. Time keeps on slipping, not fast enough into the future when it comes to NTP verification. All right, so I fast forwarded that, and there we go. So now this is December 26th. Oh, I should have said December 31st. My bad. Well, we can fix that. December 31st. Okay, and then we can forward again. All right, if it didn't sync up, I'll come back later. No, it's going to take a little bit. So let me do a few more clicks. All right. There we go. December 31st. And that's all synchronized from our time server to R1 to R2. And all these devices could go directly to the time source. That would also work. Okay. That was all about the master command for NTP. And fantastic. Here we go. We've got just a a few more questions. Here's question 7. What role can a Cisco router take regarding network time protocol? All right. It can be a peer where two devices negotiate with each other and they average out the time between them. They can be a server, they can be a client, they can do it all. All right. And here we go. Second to last question. What does the tilde mean in this output? I think I already mentioned it. It's also on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner of the diagram. Faster answers get more points. All right, that means that's the configured time server that we're dealing with. And last question, here it is, 9 of 9. And then we'll retreat off to the Discord server if you have further questions. How can you prevent synchronization to an unauthorized network time protocol server? Choose all the correct answers. Wow, very, very nice. Very, very. I have to throw a few little tidbits in to keep everybody challenged. So NTP authentication is the primary method we'd want to use to make sure we're not connecting to NTP servers or that somebody hasn't spoofed an NTP servers trying to muck with our time. And then we can also use an access group to control who we're going to be able to communicate with regarding NTP. So, all right, let's take a look at the winners table. You're all winners. Thanks for being here. Here's the podium with the top 3 and top 5. Snowy Duck, you did it! 8 out of 8 correct. Snowy Duck, you can synchronize time on my network anytime you want. Nice work. All right, the objective of studying and practicing and sharing the community time together is to get better at the technologies, because that's going to equate to better skills, and the more skills you have, that is going to equate very likely to better opportunities, better performance, and a better quality of life. Getting my Cisco CCNA back in the 90s, late 90s, was one of the best things I've ever done for my career. And you just never stop learning. There's always new things to learn. Now I'm a double CCIE, but I really appreciate other vendors' technologies as well, and most of them work the same. They just have a different way of representing it. Here's the 2 toughest questions. Question 2, we only had 6% correct as a whole, and question number 1, I only had 31%, but the rest we did pretty good on. And let me go ahead and also get your feedback as well. So if you could take a moment, give me your feedback, and then I will say goodbye in here in a moment. But if you want to continue the story in about 3 minutes, I'm going to jump onto the Discord server. I'll be in the CCNA voice chat room. If you want to talk with me, that's where I will be. We do it every Saturday for office hour and just for a few minutes after each quiz in case you want to ask a follow-up question. I'll have the documentation ready from Cisco. I'll have my labs open, and I'll also have the quiz available too, so you can take advantage of that. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate having you, and I will put on some goodbye music. And for those of you who can join me, I'll see you in Discord. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next live event. Happy studies, be kind to everybody, and good luck. Bye-bye.